Today we're diving into something I think you're going to find really interesting. It's this whole kind of strange relationship between former President Trump and some of the biggest names in tech, Silicon Valley types.
Yeah, it's definitely been raising some eyebrows.
For sure. So just picture this. It's January 2025, Trump's second inauguration, freezing cold. So they move the whole thing inside the Capitol Rotunda.
Can you imagine?
And right there, front and center, like practically part of the family portrait, are Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Like you've got these tech giants. They're not just tucked away in the audience. They're right there on the dais, closer to Trump than some of his cabinet nominees.
Yeah, you'd think those cabinet positions would be the hottest tickets in town.
Yeah.
But there you have it, tech titans holding court.
Exactly. So the big question is WHY.
Why were they so eager to be in Trump's inner circle?
That's what we're going to figure out today. I've got a mountain of articles, interviews, even some leaked emails. It's juicy stuff. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. This is the kind of insider analysis you won't find anywhere else.
We're going to look at all the angles here. The motivations at play. Some are pretty obvious, but some get into some really interesting power dynamics and political maneuvering.
Okay, let's start with Elon Musk. This guy has been a vocal Trump supporter for years. Put nearly $300 million into Trump's re-election campaign.
Yeah, his support for Trump is well documented. He's always admired Trump's business savvy and that kind of bold vision.
Yeah.
He even headed up the proposed Department of Government Efficiency during Trump's first term.
Which is interesting, right? Because Musk is like the ultimate disruptor. And here he is working within the system he usually criticizes.
It is a bit of a juxtaposition. Maybe he sees it as a way to influence the system from within.
Right. Like maybe he thinks aligning with Trump gives him a better shot at achieving his big goals, like colonizing Mars with SpaceX.
The space race angle.
And, Trump has always been a huge proponent of sending astronauts to Mars.
Sure.
Maybe they bonded over rocket launches and Martian dreams.
It's possible shared interests can definitely bring people together, even when you wouldn't expect it.
Okay. So we've got Musk, the enthusiastic supporter, but now let's talk about Bezos and Zuckerberg. Their relationships with Trump have been a little more complicated.
That's a good word for it. Jeff Bezos in particular clashed with Trump a lot during his first term. Trump constantly criticized Amazon and accused Bezos of using the Washington Post to attack him.
Yeah, there's definitely some bad blood there. But then things get interesting. Bezos seems to have a change of heart, or at least a change of tactics, leading up to the second inauguration.
You can see the shift in a few things. First, Bezos donates $1 million to the inauguration fund. And then there's that deal where Amazon Prime Video pays $40 million to license a Melania Trump documentary.
Wait, $40 million for a Melania Trump documentary? That's crazy. Talk about an olive branch.
It's a bold move, for sure.
So is this a genuine change of heart or just strategic maneuvering on Bezos' part? Is he really very hopeful about Trump's policies, as he said publicly, or is he just protecting Amazon? What do you think?
It's the big question, isn't it? Is this a genuine change of perspective or just a calculated move to get on the new administration's good side?
And if it is about currying favor, what does that say about the power dynamics here? Is this a sign that even someone like Bezos, the richest man in the world, feels the need to appease a populist president? It's something to think about.
It definitely raises questions about the influence of wealth and power in our political system.
Okay, let's not forget about Mark Zuckerberg. He's been a bit quieter than Musk and Bezos, but there's been some interesting activity on his end too.
Right, Zuckerberg's been making some strategic moves of his own. He's implemented big policy changes at Meta relaxing content moderation in ways that align with conservative viewpoints.
Yeah, the content moderation issue, that's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
But the important thing here is that these changes earned Zuckerberg praise from Donald Trump himself.
And there were those multiple visits to Mar-a-Lago in the months leading up to the inauguration.
So we've got Musk, the loyal supporter, Bezos, the strategic pragmatist, and Zuckerberg, the quiet operator. What ties them all together? Why are they suddenly circling Trump's wagon? Is it pure self-interest, or is there something more to it? We'll explore those questions after the break, so make sure you stick around. You won't want to miss this.
So we're back digging deeper into this whole tech titans and Trump thing. It's fascinating, right?
Yeah, it's like this weird mix of tech power and political power.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about the state of American democracy today.
It's a microcosm of a much bigger trend. This whole convergence of tech and politics, it's happening everywhere. And it raises some big questions about who really holds the power in the digital age.
Right. So let's get back to the WHY. Why are these tech giants so eager to cozy up to Trump? We talked about Musk's enthusiasm, maybe fueled by those space dreams. and Bezos playing it strategically, maybe to protect Amazon. But what are they hoping to gain specifically?
Well, one big thing is deregulation. Remember Bezos saying he was very hopeful about Trump's deregulation efforts. For companies like Amazon, fewer regulations mean bigger profits.
So basically, they support Trump and he gives them favorable policies in return, like a quid pro quo.
It's definitely a transactional relationship, but it highlights how politics often works. It's about give and take. These tech leaders are smart. They know that having a direct line to the president gives them a huge advantage.
It's funny, though, because Trump hasn't always been nice to Amazon and Bezos. He's called them out for not paying enough taxes, even threatened to break up the company. So what changed? Why this sudden shift to being all friendly?
It's hard to say for sure. Maybe Bezos realized that fighting wasn't working. Maybe he thinks collaborating, even just appearing to collaborate, is the best way to protect Amazon.
Maybe that explains the $40 million Melania Trump documentary deal, like a peace offering.
It's a strategic move for sure. It sends a message of support, even if it's just a business decision. And who knows, maybe it'll be a huge hit on Amazon Prime Video, especially with Trump's base.
Okay, so we've got Bezos the pragmatist. But what about Musk? His motivations seem more idealistic, at least on the surface. He seems to genuinely believe in Trump's vision for space exploration. Could that be enough?
It's definitely a factor, but let's not forget about self-interest. SpaceX and Tesla rely heavily on government contracts. Being on Trump's good side helps secure those contracts and ensures a favorable environment for his businesses.
Plus, Musk hates bureaucracy and regulations, and Trump is all about deregulation. So aligning with Trump could be a way to push his own agenda forward.
It's a mix of idealism and pragmatism. He wants to change the world, but he's also a savvy businessman who knows how to play the game.
Okay, so now we've got Musk, the visionary, Bezos, the strategist, and then there's Zuckerberg. He's been quieter, but his actions speak volumes. He's made big changes at Meta, especially around content moderation. It seems like he's trying to appease conservatives and align himself with Trump's worldview.
Zuckerberg's playing it smart. He's walking a tightrope, trying to keep users happy, stay on the right side of regulators, and navigate the political landscape. It's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah. Remember, he's been under fire for years about how Meta handles misinformation and hate speech. Some say he censors conservatives. Others say he doesn't do enough to combat harmful content. It's a no-win situation. And his recent policy changes seem like an attempt to find some middle ground, even if it means aligning with Trump.
It makes you wonder, what's really motivating him? Is it free speech or just trying to avoid trouble and keep Meta on top?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's something we need to keep exploring as we dig deeper into this whole tech titans and Trump alliance. Stick with us. We're just getting started. So we've been talking about this whole Trump and tech thing, Musk, Bezos, Zuckerberg, all cozying up to the former president. It's a wild story. But I think there's a bigger picture here. What does this all mean for democracy in the digital age?
That's the key question. It's easy to get caught up in the details, the donations, the Mar-a-Lago trips, but we need to look at the bigger picture. Is this a sign that wealth and tech influence are becoming even more intertwined with political power?
Exactly. It's not just about these three guys. It's about the power of big tech and how they use their money and their reach to influence politics. And that's kind of scary, right? If a few companies can basically buy their way into shaping policy, what happens to the rest of us?
It feeds into this whole idea of a billionaire class running the show, which a lot of people are worried about. The argument is that this concentration of power undermines democracy and leads to policies that only benefit the wealthy elite.
And those images of tech CEOs getting better seats than cabinet nominees at the inauguration. It's hard to ignore the symbolism. It's like they're the ones really in charge.
It definitely plays into that narrative, right? This idea that Silicon Valley is calling the shots, maybe even more than traditional political institutions.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, what can we even do about it? How do we make sure technology serves everyone, not just the people at the top?
There are no easy answers. Some people say we need stricter campaign finance laws to limit the influence of money in politics. Others want stronger antitrust laws to break up big tech and prevent them from having so much power.
And then there's the whole debate about content moderation and the role of tech companies in shaping what we see and hear online. That's a tough one. But I think the first step is just being aware of the problem. We need to talk about these things, ask tough questions, hold both tech leaders and politicians accountable.
Exactly. This isn't just a tech issue or a political issue, it's a societal issue. It affects all of us. We need to be informed and engaged, and we need to be willing to challenge the status quo if we want to make sure technology empowers us, not controls us.
Well said. I think that's a great place to wrap things up. This has been a really thought-provoking conversation.
Yeah.
And it's clear that this whole tech and politics thing is something we need to keep a close eye on.
Definitely. This conversation isn't over. We need to stay informed, keep talking about these issues, and demand a future where technology benefits everyone.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the forces shaping our world. Until next time, stay curious and stay engaged.